Hello family, welcome back to Swahili Nation YouTube channel, and my name is Paul Justin, and today we are going to do a video reaction of President William Ruto. So don't forget to like this video, drop your comment and subscribe our YouTube channel. Stick there.
Welcome to India. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good. Thank you very much for... It was a wonderful visit to India, and I'm truly grateful to the government, people, Prime Minister, President of India for receiving me and for all the conversations we've had and all the discussions that we've had. And I am very confident that it's going to be a new chapter in India-Kenya relations.
Tell me about your conversations and meeting with Prime Minister Modi. What is your equation with him?
We had a wonderful conversation with Prime Minister Modi. I have a lot of admiration for Prime Minister Modi, the way he has managed to pick up India and the way he is focused on matters that affect common people, and the way he believes, like me, in bottom up, trying to do what benefits the majority of citizens. And India has made huge strides in making sure that they can deliver government service efficiently, cost effectively, and also eliminating bureaucracy and pilferage and corruption. That is precisely what I want to do in Kenya. When I consulted many professionals, they told me the place with the best tested system is India. And so we are using the Indian experience in our digitization of government service, in our unique personal identifier, the same way you have it here in India. I had a wonderful experience with Prime Minister Modi, and as I told you, he is a great inspiration on what he does. And of course, I was asking him, well, it's tough, doing things for 50 million people. I don't know how he does for 1.4 billion. It's quite something.
Why did he tell you that? The answer to that?
He gave me some tips, not for the media.
Not for the media?
Yes.
A few decades back, the developing world was looking at Western models of development and of growth that were to be emulated. Do you think that now the India model is something that countries like Kenya and others resonate with more?
Well, we all share the same history. India was a British colony just like Kenya. And India was lucky to have made strides ahead of us. And so there is a lot of commonality. And in fact, that's what I was saying yesterday. There is a lot of commonality between India and Kenya. It's easier for us to work with Indian experience because we can relate to it. Yes, it is much more comparable. It's much more easy to learn from what India has done. And we are sharing experience. There are a few things India will learn from Kenya as we make this journey.
I'm sure. One of the key announcements yesterday was about fighting terrorism and defense forces of both countries coming together. And that's a very, very important subject for India because we've been at the receiving end of state-sponsored terrorism from a neighbor that was not just supported but also funded, first by the US and now by China. Do you think the international community needs to do more to call out such actors?
Terrorism is a global phenomenon, and it's a crisis that affects many parts of the world. The same way India has suffered terrorism, we too have. We have neighbors that have serious challenges of terrorist groups in Somalia, in various parts of our region. It's necessary that we build a coalition of countries so that we share experience, we share intelligence, we share information, we collaborate, we synergize so that we can deal with terrorism, because terrorism has no borders.
Prime Minister Modi and India were instrumental in getting the African Union into the G20. Is that something that you discussed? And do you think that is one way to sort of get the proper representation that Africa deserves?
That's correct. In fact, I did commend my brother Prime Minister Modi for his efforts in championing the place of Global South, and specifically the place of Africa in the global geopolitics. It is here in India that Africa got the opportunity to be a permanent member of the G20. And we believe that that positioning is going to not only bring voice, but African perspective into the conversation.
You mentioned the global financial architecture, and from the joint statement I see that it mentioned a project financing in Kenya in Indian rupees. There's been a lot of talk of that as well, of de-dollarization. Do you see a future not very far away, devoid of the hegemony of the US dollar?
I think what we must not bring an us versus them, these versus the other. We have no problem with the US dollar, but we want currency neutral trade. You know, we want to diversify currency. For example, for us in Africa, we are working with the Afrexim Bank to have a pan-African payment and settlement system where trade in Africa will be in local currency, you know, but the settlement can be done at a higher level by a centralized system. Afrexim is providing a facility because we lose about $5 billion every year in Africa just in exchange rates between this currency and this currency and the dollar, this currency and the other one. So we are saying we want trade, we want commerce, we want transactions to be currency neutral. For us, we want to trade in our local currencies. And in fact, the conversation I was having yesterday with Prime Minister Modi is that even the facility that will be extended to Kenya, the $250 million facility, we want it in Indian rupees so that we can, why should we go and look for dollars when we can have the facility in Indian rupees? We have a lot of trade, you know, we have commodities we buy in Indian rupees. Why should we change Kenya shilling to US dollar, from US dollar to Indian rupees? Why don't we just agree that we can do trade between Kenya in shillings and in rupees? So this is what the conversation we are having.
You recently also said that the world is now looking at Africa as an opportunity and not as a source of problems. And we see the growing interest. You know, there are European players like France, there's the US, there's China, there's Russia. Do you also then see a new scramble for Africa sort of taking shape?
Scramble would be the wrong word. Maybe, maybe a new focus. You know, what we are saying as African leaders is, and I will tell you what I have said often, that there is an African proverb that says, until the lion learned to write his own story, all stories glorified the hunter because he was the one writing. So this time round, we're going to write our own story. For a long time, people wrote stories about Africa, and they said Africa is a place of disease, poverty, conflict, problems. We're telling them Africa is much more than that.
We have millions of viewers in Kenya, and it is going to them, and I cannot let you go without asking you about the role of Indians in Kenya in cementing this relationship between the two countries. That is my final question.
We have a great Indian diaspora in Kenya. They have worked with us since 1911. They came to build the railway, and they found that there was a great place to stay. So they chose to stay with us in Kenya. They bring on board the diversity of Kenya, and today they stopped being Indians. They are now Kenya's 44th tribe, and they are perfectly Kenyan with us. And they've been a great bridge between India and Kenya.
Some of them are friends and they call Kenya home.
Yes.
So I've heard great things, but thank you so much for your time, President Ruto. I know you've been pressed for time, but you've made time for us, and it's been a great conversation.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for watching this video. My name is Paul Justin. Don't forget to subscribe our YouTube channel, like this video, and drop your comment. Bye-bye.